Hello friends, I am Chevee. Welcome to my shed. How are you today? How's life in your world and how's things where you are? That has been my opening for this show for a very long time now. And this past weekend, yesterday, Sunday, March 22nd, 21st, what's today? Today's 21st, marked a milestone for this show. Now we've hit a lot of milestones. I thought 500 episodes was a cool deal. I thought 100 episodes was a cool deal. 1,000 episodes happened. But then I realized is that episode count doesn't really matter that much. It doesn't really put anything into perspective. For instance, today is the 1,281st episode of this show. And that doesn't really mean anything when you tell somebody that. Like, what's the difference between one page and 1,280 pages? Well, it's just a little bit more counting, right? But what the new milestone, the time frame, or the milestone that we hit yesterday is 5 years. I started this show 5 years ago, March 21st, 2016. And I've been doing it ever since. It's been a part of my life ever since. And for me, personally, doing a thing a repetitive amount of time has never really been a problem for me. I don't really get burned out, as some people like to say, when it comes to doing repetitive tasks. I can do repetitive tasks, I don't want to say indefinitely, because obviously that's not true, but I can do repetitive tasks for a very long time. So doing 1,000 episodes or 1,200 episodes or 5,000 episodes, that's not a thing. But 5 years of my life doing this, that is kind of huge for me. I don't normally do things. I don't normally have hobbies that span quarter decades or half decades. I can't even do math. See, math isn't even something that stayed with me this long. I don't normally have interests that last that long, that I continually get excited about. I continually get excited about this show. There are days when I don't want to do it. Sure. There are days when it's like, I got nothing to talk about, but I'm going to do it. But overall, I'm still very excited about it. And I think that is the milestone for me. 5 years and I'm still going is a big deal. So I thought it would be fun to watch the opening of the very first episode of this show with you right now. So I'm just going to run it and then I'll catch you back here. It's Monday, March 21st. Welcome to the Daily Shed. Hello friends, I'm Chevee. Welcome to the Daily Shed, my weekday show here on YouTube. That's pretty aggressive, huh? Em likes to watch those and go, look at how aggressive you were back then. And I was super aggressive. I was really kind of excited about this idea, right? The show originally started as kind of a fulfillment of a childhood dream. I thought when I was a kid that I wanted to be a nighttime talk show host. I thought I was going to be the next David Letterman. Like, that's what my dream job was. If somebody said, if you could do anything, what would it be? That was it. I wanted to be a talk show host. And so part of the inspiration for the show was that side of me, like wanting to have a place to say things, whatever those things are. When this all began, it was initially a way for me to communicate with my children in perpetuity, meaning that they would always have this record of their father. They would always have this collection of thoughts and ideas from their dad that they could look back on at any point in their life from here on out. And it was something that I longed for when my grandfather died. He had told me dozens of these amazing stories about his life, and I have no record of them. And I really wish I did. And so I thought it would be fun to have a record. And when I started it, I thought, okay, if I can figure out a way to make this an interactive experience, if I can find a community of people that will gather around and help me formulate new ideas, new topics, engage themselves in the discussion with me, call in, leave messages, voicemails, whatever, emails, and I could read all that stuff on the show and we could have this interactive experience, I thought I could really make it happen. I really believed that. I thought for sure that if I put enough of my own personal energy into it, I would get that back. And for a while, it felt like that was going to happen. The trajectory of the show in the beginning, I started off with just a few friends watching, and I got to the point where episodes were getting, close to 200 views per episode, and I was like, this is going to work. I'm going to keep finding new people. But as time went on, the format of the show turned into more of this Dear Diary type situation, and I started to really kind of not lose interest, but I started to lose my faith in it turning into something that I could, I guess, monetize. Let's be honest, like I thought maybe this could be a side income that was worthy of my time, and that was part of the motivation for it. But that audience never really materialized, and the more that I attempted to kind of tweak things, the more pushback I received from the dedicated people who were here every day. And those people said, I really like the Dear Diary format. Just keep doing that because it's really engaging and entertaining. And I said, okay. And so here we are 5 years later, and for the last 4.5 years, the show has just been, here's a guy every day standing in his garage telling you some little snippet of his life or some little idea that he had, or maybe reviewing a product or a book or a game, or just talking about what the hell ever. And it's turned into something that on a daily basis I'm excited to come down here and turn the camera on. I'm excited to share my thoughts with the world, even if that world is just a couple dozen people. There is potential for more, and there will always be that potential. And I don't know that I'm ever going to seek that potential out. Like, I know for a fact, let me take that back. I know for a fact that I'm never going to attempt to seek that potential. I'm never going to try to grab hold of an audience and kind of drag them along with me. I'm much more interested in those of you that have been here all this time and who have become really dear friends. There was a time when I did the show in two formats. In the beginning, it was also a podcast. I thought if I had it audio version only, I could also appeal to those people and I could get more people involved. I found that I very rarely got any engagement from the audio listeners. I tried to set up a Patreon so that I could have paying members of the club help me formulate help me pick topics so I could schedule topics to talk about and do a little bit of pre-research. And for a while I had a couple of people. I was doing okay. I still have a Patreon. It has one person on it, so thank you, Jonathan. For a while, I was promoting the idea of using my Amazon links so that I could try to get more, review-type situations going with Amazon sellers. I tried to push for a lot of the, YouTube-y ways of making a channel grow. And what I realized was I'm not really interested in the channel's growth. I'm interested in my personal growth. And my personal growth has been on camera for 5 years. That you guys have been with me through 2017, which is, I would argue, one of the worst years that I went. It's definitely one of the worst years I went through in my life. It could have been perceived from the outside world as one of the worst years that anybody's, so much loss, family, marriage, children. I lost everything that year. My job, my whole world fell to pieces, and you were all here with me. And yeah, I hid a lot of it on camera. I didn't let you into the deepest, darkest parts of me, but I tried to keep everybody informed as to what was going on in my life and let you know that it's okay. And I tried to stay positive through it all. And I think without turning this camera on and without doing that, would have really stunted my emotional growth through that year and the following years. I think I would have been much worse off had I not had somebody to talk to. And you guys were that somebody. So 5 years it has been, and who knows, will we make it another 5? Will YouTube make it another 5? I'm not sure. What I do know is I'm not putting the energy into this like I had attempted to on that first episode. And I think that's okay. I think that when I come down here and I'm genuinely excited about something and I want to share something with you, you guys let me know that it was really fun to see me get excited. So I'm going to keep that sort of thing rolling. Hopefully, someday my life will kind of hit some sort of balance where I can figure out how to make the other channel work a little bit more. At the time when I used to do the gaming channel actually did okay for the little bit of time that I ran it. But that was a point in my life where I was using YouTube to avoid my family. I was so overwhelmed by my family and by monetary problems that I was using YouTube as a way to ignore all of it. And I don't want to do that anymore. You know, I don't want to come down here and make something just because I'm trying to avoid the problems that exist in my world. So I'm trying to find a way to make it all work. But I still enjoy making videos. So we're going to keep doing this probably for another 5 years. I don't know. I have no interest in quitting right now. Why would I? You know, I found the people. I found my people. You're my people. And I really appreciate all of you for keeping me going for the last 5 years. I hope that hope that some of you will stay along. I understand and I recognize that not everybody can watch something like this for years and years and years. I realize that I'm going to gain new people who will watch for 6 months and then drop off. That's going to happen for the life of this show, and I'm okay with that. So thank you to everybody who's watching right now. Thank you if you've ever watched in the past. Thank you if you choose to watch in the future. I couldn't imagine that I'd be still doing this after 5 years, and here we are. Thank you. Thank you all for being amazing friends, wonderful people, fantastic community members. I really appreciate you, and I will see you again tomorrow. Today's word you should know to sound smart is events. It is a verb meaning to reveal or indicate the presence of a particular feeling or condition. The blocky lines of Van Gogh's paintings evince a feeling of depression and madness. Events. E-V-I-N-C-E. That's such a weird word. Events. Evoke? I thought they would evoke a feeling of depression. Is that a different word? Are they synonyms?